All right, getting on the bike. Today I want to take you on a journey. We're going to talk about the lessons that I've learned that took me 15 years to learn them. My name is Mackenzie. I'm an American living in South Australia, and I love it here. This video is going to be a little bit different than ones that I've made in the past. I just want to have a long conversation. We're going to do that while I take a bike ride through Linear Park. It's a beautiful park that's only open to pedestrians and bicyclists. That goes right through the heart of the city of Adelaide. Yeah, I love it. I take my morning runs there all the time, and it's just such a peaceful ride. And here we are, just like that. Now we're on Linear Park. It's a beautiful sunny day. And at the end of this video, I got a surprise for you. You'll see where I'm taking you and where we wind up and who we're gonna meet. But for right now, you're on a journey with me. The purpose of this video, it's just to share my story. I think that everybody has a story to tell. Mine's no better than anyone else's, but it is mine. Yeah, I'm glad to be opening up and sharing this with you today. My goal, or my hope I should say, is that perhaps this video can inspire other people to really strive for their best selves, live with authenticity, really just kind of shape the life that you've always wanted. You know, that's the goal. We're only here for a short period of time, and you know, what we make with our lives is all up to us. And if I can inspire anyone to take that scary step towards their authenticity, then I'm happy to do that. And I'm going to be talking about three main topics on this bike journey. Here we are going under our first bridge. Look at that. Yeah, so the three main topics are going to be the three awakenings that I've had in life. And these awakenings all took place at different points in my life, but they all had a theme to them, right? So the first awakening was of the body. The second awakening was for the heart, and the third was for the mind. I don't know, maybe there's a fourth one, maybe there's a soul awakening that I haven't experienced yet. I don't know, I gotta live my life, I'll find out. And I'm gonna tell you these stories in the context of what I've experienced in my life thus far. I had a pretty unique situation where I was associated with and friends with a billionaire, to put it quite frankly. And yeah, I'm going to share some of my stories around that. And I also just want to say that, you know, I was pretty young, and looking back, a lot of the experiences I had, I felt like I was kind of asleep a little bit. I had all of these glorious and beautiful experiences that kind of acted like distractions in a way from really diving deep into myself, understanding some things about myself, and that's no one's fault but my own. yeah, I was very fortunate to have the experiences that I did. And, you know, the names, the specific people, they're relevant to this story. You know, if you know, you know, but yeah, I'm not looking to point any fingers or call anybody out. That's not the purpose of this video at all. And yeah, it was crazy. So I was in my young 20s, living in London, getting my master's degree at the time. I started to work for this billionaire who I'd met through my previous partner at the time. And I stayed in relation to him and working with him and friends for, close to a decade, probably. Oh, let me get up this hill. All right. Such a lovely park. So because I was associated with this person who happened to be a billionaire, I was in the inner circle, which is kind of a wild and crazy ride if you're up for it. It included things like, you know, just a billionaire lifestyle. Sometimes first class tickets on an airplane, 5-star hotels and restaurants, designer gifts, jewelry, custom-made clothing, meeting celebrities, everything you would expect. There was no drugs, no wild, crazy sex stuff, nothing like that you can sometimes associate with a wealthy lifestyle. I loved the time that I spent. I loved this period in my life. It was fun, it was exciting. Like I said, I'm very grateful for it. And I was treated like family. You know, they were my family. And I wouldn't really trade that experience for anything. Oh, take a look at this. This is one of my favorite parts of the park. These beautiful flower gardens, this beautiful river coming up on the center city of Adelaide. Wow. Gosh, aren't I so lucky? And I just want to mention that living adjacent to this billionaire, it was through my partner at the time, and the relationship was formed because of that. And so subconsciously, I kind of always knew that me being with that partner at the time was the reason why I had close proximity to this wealthy individual. They were friends first, and I met him through my ex. So yeah, subconsciously I knew that if ever I were to end that relationship, or if we were no longer together, my association with that lifestyle would come to an end. And surely enough, it did. And I want to discuss the 3 awakenings that got me to want to end what was a crazy ride. You know, who wouldn't want to be living it up and have all expense paid trips? Oh gosh, to so many places, so many wonderful memories. Trips to Germany and China and Japan, multiple visits to Singapore and Disney World, New Orleans, Las Vegas, New York. Yeah. The thing is, I've realized is that because there was a monetary exchange of work, right? I was working for this individual and his projects, and also receiving gifts. As well-intentioned as I know they were, it's almost impossible for there not to be some sort of expectation associated. Oh, the shade feels nice and cool under this bridge. All right, here we are coming up on Adelaide City Centre. Look at that. I don't think I'll ever get tired of this bike path. I've been to many cities before, and I think Adelaide really has something special here. It's only a city of about 1 million people, so it's not too big, it's not too small, it's just right. And I feel it's got a great balance of city and nature. I mean, this shot right here is a perfect example. Beautiful city, beautiful nature, free to everyone to enjoy. That's always a win in my book. Yeah, look at that. So pretty. So, as I was saying, with kind of these expectations, therefore there was always kind of this pressure to comply, I guess would be the right word. If there's one thing I know about billionaires and wealthy people, is they really value their privacy and discretion, which I can appreciate. And yeah, sometimes I just felt like I couldn't always speak freely or make videos freely. Yeah, so that had to change. And I'm going to shift gears and talk about these 3 awakenings. The first one was of the body, right? And it was 2014. I must have been about 27 years old, and I had just moved to the Bay Area, the San Francisco Bay Area. I was living in Oakland at the time, and I needed to get a new dentist. So I booked myself in to a new dentist, and this Russian woman took one look at my x-rays and told me, you need to stop eating sugar or else you're going to lose all your teeth. You have way too many cavities. And I was like, oh shit. Really? It kind of freaked me out. I went home that day and I cleaned out all the refined sugar in my refrigerator, in my cupboards, my pantry, everything went straight into the trash. And it was also this time in my life that I had a lot of inflammation in my body. Now, I may have looked like a young, healthy 27-year-old woman, but internally, I was not well. I could not walk more than 10 minutes without breaking into tears. I had so much pain in my hips. And I'm not exaggerating, it was really 10 minutes. My parents came to visit me for Thanksgiving, and we're trying to, take the trolleys and be tourists in the city. And I couldn't do it. I broke into tears. I had to take a cab home. I couldn't walk. My hips hurt so bad. And I went to a physical therapist, and I innately knew that there was no pill that was going to fix this issue for me. I had to change my diet and lifestyle. And that's what I did. I started to read up on a low inflammatory diet, and I did all the research. I looked into Whole30, paleo, keto, vegetarian, vegan, fully raw, everything. I read books, I watched documentaries, I listened to podcasts, and I just did a deep, deep dive on food and how to heal the body naturally. And the more I researched, the more I came to the conclusion that a plant-based diet was going to be the best fit for me. And sure enough, it was. So I went vegan for a good 10 years. I wouldn't say that I'm vegan now. I've definitely relaxed up a bit on that. I enjoy, butter and, cheeses occasionally. Sometimes I like a bite of steak, not gonna lie. But it's definitely more of a plant-based centric diet. But at the time, I was strictly vegan for a good 3 years, I'd say. Very strict. Sure enough, that did help me heal my body and gain my strength. But there was a huge awakening, and I say awakening because first I had to unlearn everything I ever knew about diet and the body. And I'm talking things like we've all learned. Eat meat, eat animal protein for strong muscles. You gotta drink milk for healthy bones. I unlearned all of that and started to form my own opinions through the research that I was doing. And it was just a huge awakening of like, oh, I thought I was healthy before, but now I know what it really means. I was addicted to sugar before. And when I say addicted, like I'd have to keep a Nature Valley granola bar in my purse for when I got shaky, right? If I needed a sugar hit, I'd have to eat one of those. And that was no good. I still like my sugar, don't get me wrong. That's probably never gonna change, but I drastically cut it out. I think I would have sugar with every single meal. And, now I just have it in things like honey for my tea or maple syrup for my oatmeal and, desserts occasionally. Really enjoying this park. I hope you're all enjoying this ride with me today. It's just a stunning landscape. Very fortunate, very lucky to be here in South Australia. So yeah, that was the body awakening. Doing the research, forming my own opinions, taking action, right? Taking action to change my diet. The second awakening was one of the heart. And this really gets to the heart of the matter. I refer to myself as a recovering people pleaser. And I say recovering because the work's never really done, right? And I was, I kind of grew up this way. I was a person that put other people's needs before my own. And I guess I learned this as a way to stay safe. And there came a time when I no longer aligned with that. Something in me really resisted the people pleasing. There came a point in my life when I had to do something drastically different. Again, I had to take action. So during the 2020 lockdown, during the pandemic, I spent my time researching, and I researched everything there was to know about thru-hiking and backpacking. That's where I came across the PCT, the Pacific Crest Trail. So while the whole world is in chaos, in lockdown, I'm on my computer researching, what do I do if there's a forest fire? What do I do if I see a bear? What if I get bitten by a snake? What if I see a mountain lion? How do I cross the river? How do I use an ice axe? Like, how do I put on crampons? How do I filter water? What kind of tent do I need? What kind of clothes do I need? I took self-defense classes. Yeah, that was a lot. Again, a big awakening, similar to the first one. Lots of research, forming my own opinions. And in 2021, I set foot out on the Pacific Crest Trail at the United States-Mexican border, and tried to get all the way up to Canada, tried to walk. I think it's something like 2,650 miles of walking through the wilderness. It's a long trail. But it gave me a lot of time to reflect on where I was at in life. And I'm someone that believes life is a series of relationships, and I'm definitely someone who has had my fair share of relationships, but there was always one missing, and that was the relationship with myself, right? I'm not really pleasing my heart and my inner desires to live a authentic life. So, yeah, having that time on the Pacific Crest Trail really gave me a lot of time to think about what I wanted in life and how I could show up for myself differently. I read a couple of books. I read Wild, but what's it called? The Glennon Doyle one. I forget the name of it. I'll leave a link in the description. But I also read a book by Martha Beck called The Way of Integrity, and that book blew my mind wide open. Really opened up my heart to myself in a way that I had never done before. I just want to take a moment to say thank you if you are still listening to this rant of mine. If you're still on this journey through the park with me, I promise we're going someplace spectacular. And I appreciate you listening. If you're still along for the ride, that's awesome. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. So yeah, showing up for my heart, I really took a deep look at where I was in life. That's when I realized that I wasn't necessarily living my most authentic, best self, getting back to the people I was associated with. There was just, I don't know, I guess I had grown as a person, and the people I surrounded myself with, the relationship that I was in at the time, they no longer felt in alignment, or perhaps they couldn't grow with me, or maybe I just wanted to venture out on my own, which is fair. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Going on a journey of self-discovery. It was hard. It was hard to open up my heart. I went through a bit of an ego death, many tears, many therapy calls, a lot of confronting conversations. But that's called doing the work. And doing the work is never really over. You just grow with it. And that's what I did. I think I was about 35 when all this took place. You know, that's not shocking. A lot of friends that I know have also gone through major life transformations in and around that time in their life. Oh, here we go, through another tunnel. Woo! Ah, that breeze feels good. This park is amazing. I've got a YouTube video, again, I'll link it, but it's called The Rebirth of Artemis. It's kind of a homage to my heart and the rebirth that I went and did on the Pacific Crest Trail, because it was hard. Literally the hardest thing I think I've ever physically done, and it just, yeah, it opened up my heart and in such a way to myself where I gained a self-confidence that I didn't know I was capable of. You know, when you're summiting the tallest mountain in the continental United States, or you're navigating through a thunderstorm or a hailstorm, even when you're like hitchhiking and figuring out what to do on trail, navigating the daily problem-solving skills that you have to confront while you're doing a long hike like that. It gave me a certain self-confidence that I really needed. That kind of helped me to start to dismantle the people-pleasing behaviors that I had picked up in life along the way. And then we get to my third awakening. But we're gonna have to get to that after I pass this huge group of students, because I think we're coming up on a school here. This ought to be fun.
Oh yeah. Hi.
Well, at least one girl knew that there was a camera. All right, the third awakening, but perhaps not the final. The third awakening was of the mind. And, the mind can be a scary place if we let it. I found it to be the most needed place to retreat that I've ever experienced in my life. I was in Bali at the time. I was there for a month, and I had just been traveling all over the world. I was in Indonesia, I was in Cambodia, Bali, Singapore. You know, I should be having the time of my life, but I was absolutely miserable. And something in me said, go book a meditation retreat. I had been told about Vipassana by a friend a couple years ago. I'd never really looked seriously into it, but something in me said, now. I need to go right now. So I went on their website, and you have to apply and be accepted. And there's application dates, and I had missed the deadlines for the one in Bali. And I thought, well, maybe I can go to Europe. I've got a friend that lives in Slovakia. So I was like, I could go to one in Italy or Hungary, Poland, Switzerland. I don't care where, but none of them were open. Sure enough, the Vipassana retreat that was accepting applications was in, what was it? The one in Palm Springs. Where am I going? The one in Palm Springs, California. The one that passes, well, the Pacific Crest Trail passes just by there. And I said, perfect. I love the desert. This place has meaning to me. So that's where I applied, and sure enough, I got in. So a little bit about a Vipassana retreat. It is a 10-day silent meditation. And I'm someone that had meditated sporadically at best over the years. Definitely nothing quite like this before. Again, I've made a whole video on it if you're curious to know more about my thoughts on that. The meditation retreat, it provided me a time to just retreat into my mind and go to a deep, deep place of personal awakening. Yet again, when you're having to meditate for hours and hours each day, it gets deep. There's no place to go. You have to confront yourself. You just have to. There's no one else there. There's no noise, no cell phones or emails distracting you. You have to spend time with yourself. And I'm so thankful that I did, because that really changed the course of the direction of my life. Because I got out of that retreat, and having gone through a body, heart, and mind transformation now, I found the inner strength to leave this life of comfort that I had been accustomed to. And it was scary. I didn't really know what to do or where to go. I called my parents and said, hey, I'm coming home. And that's what I did. Leaving that life of luxury and comfort behind, I don't regret it. Again, I'm so thankful for the opportunities that I had. I just know that had I stayed in that inner circle, I would not have been my happiest self, my most authentic self. And that's the journey that I'm on, is to be true to myself. I listened to a video earlier today by Maya Angelou. Oh, we got some tree cutting. Well, that was loud and fun. This is a very exciting trail. Lots of people use it, and that's what I love about it. All right. Let me just refer back to my map here. Yep, still, let's see, almost to the destination. Thanks again for sticking with me. So yeah, I listened to a video by Maya Angelou today, and she talked about showing up as your true self. And you don't just walk into a room, you know, for an interview or an important meeting. You don't just walk in by yourself. You carry all the people that have ever loved you with you. And you call on them to stand by you. And it brings a sense of brightness to your aura. And people can just tell. They're like, what is it about her? She's just so confident or so happy. She's beaming. And that's because when you truly love yourself, no one can knock you off your own little pedestal. You know, you still have to remain humble, of course, but you know that you've got you, and you're showing up for your inner child, and you're looking after yourself. It's not someone else that's doing that for you. You're not dependent or codependent on anybody else but yourself. And there's a real sense of empowerment with that. And by bringing the love that was given to you by other people, family members and friends, anyone that's been important in your life and giving you love, you carry that with you like a superpower. And you just watch what you can achieve. It's nothing short of amazing. And it was with that love, that self-love, that I really ventured out on my own. And I think it was within me the whole time for this healing journey that has taken me the better part of 15 years. Oh, great. Footpath closed. Looks like I'm going around. As in life, or when you're on the trail, sometimes the path is closed or it's inaccessible to you, and you've got to navigate around it. So, great little metaphor for today. But that's okay. We get to look at these lovely homes, and I can still see the park. Must be nice to live here. Well, in a way, I guess I do live here. More construction. All right, let me see if I can get past this quickly. And just like that, back on trail. Cool, that wasn't so bad. Now I'm going to shift gears and talk a little bit about what I call the difference between life state and life situation. And I learned this really when I stepped out on my own, and I had to learn the difference between the two. And I want to share that with you now, but I need a little bit of a water break. So You'll just have to bear with me while I get some water. It's a real hot day in Adelaide today. There we go. Okay, onward. I'd say we've got another maybe a few minutes to this ride. Almost there though. So yeah, getting back to where I was, the life state and life situation. So I refer to your life state as the now, the present moment. It's a state that exists beyond time. You can never quite touch it, right? Is it in the past? Is it in the present? Well, it's right now, but right now is just a second ago. But maybe it's right now in a minute, and it's really hard to quite to put your thumb on it. But this is your life state. It's your God-given abilities to be human and live. Another detour. Here we go. I think I'm gonna have to do a road crossing with this one. But I'll do my best to keep talking about the here and the now in this life state. And I want to take a second to also define what I call the life situation. And these are situations, right? These are things like gains, losses, fame and disgrace, praise or blame, pleasure or pain. These are all situations that we can find ourselves in. There's always that polarity, positive and negative, and it's a spectrum in between all those things, pleasure and pain, that sort of thing. But the quality of life that I've learned is to have a distinction between the life state and the life situation. Like right now, my life situation kind of sucks. I'm trying to cross a road, a busy road with traffic. There's tons of cars in both directions. I'm concerned about my safety. This is my, yes, it's my here and now, but it's my situation, right? I'm not defined by any of this. I'm still Mackenzie. I can navigate this situation with ease, and I'm gonna be okay. And I just breathe, and I return to the here, return to the now, and everything kind of works out. So that's kind of how I define real life. I know this is starting to sound like a rant. Real life is in the here and now, and the two are always there, right? Your life state and your life situation. I just went through a situation. My life state is that I'm happy to be in this park, recording this video, happy to have the air in my lungs, the sun on my skin. This is my current state of being, right? I am alive, I'm well, and I'm very grateful for that. And I can navigate situations that come and situations that go. Something that I also learned is that surrounding yourself with people that you love, good people, good community, it's invaluable. You cannot put a price on that. The community of people that support you when certain situations feel like they're too much to carry yourself. Having good friends will uplift you. And support you when it's really challenging for you to get through those situations. And I'm just so grateful for the friends in my life. You know who you are. I wouldn't necessarily be who I am today without their support. And I don't think I'd be here in beautiful South Australia. I mean, this is a long way from New England. Literally, if you look at a globe, the exact opposite of the globe from where I'm from, you would find South Australia. Does not get further away from home than this. And yet, oddly, the moment I touched down here in the plane, it felt so familiar, which I found very strange at first. But then I realized why it felt familiar. I had lived for a good 10 years in California, and there's so much of Adelaide that reminds me of Los Angeles and where I lived in West Hollywood, right? Adelaide is a modern city like LA. Everybody drives. In LA, you have the Hollywood Hills and Malibu. Here you have the Adelaide Hills, and it's got that dry climate that's good for growing grapes and making wine. In LA, you have Santa Monica Beach. Here you have Henley Beach and Glenelg, and it felt like home. And I think that's why I'm so comfortable here. And the Australians have a great culture where they, if there's ever like a public gathering, they usually tend to thank the original native peoples of this land for allowing them to be on this land and just show their appreciation. And so, yeah, I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that right now I've been riding my bicycle on what is known as Ghana land, and they're the original inhabitants of this land, and they deserve to have their name be spoken and to be acknowledged, and to not forget that history. Being American, I can say quite confidently that America still has a lot to learn from our history, and most nations built on colonization still do have a lot to learn. It's not a one-size-fits-all package for any country, but the baby steps of at least acknowledging the heritage of the land we occupy, I think it's a really beautiful thing. And I like that. Something I don't like is how far I am from my family. That's hard. Low bridge. Woo. Yeah, I'm an only child. I still have both my parents. They're still together. Still in the hometown that I grew up in. That's always going to feel like home. And I miss it. I really do genuinely miss home. And I've been really fortunate enough to have traveled all over the world and seen and done many things. And there's just something really magical, really special about coming back to your hometown and running into a familiar face. So often I'm meeting new people in new places and having to do introductions, which is all well and good, but I don't know, running into your old soccer coach and your Spanish teacher, when you go to your old hometown, there's something really special that I love about that. And I don't really get to experience that anywhere else but home. So I love it for that reason. We're still following the river Torrens here. My legs are getting a little tired. I'll tell you that in the here and now. Such a beautiful day. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this park. I'd be curious to know, would you bike it? Would you walk it? Would you avoid it? I don't know, maybe you want to come to Adelaide. It's a great city. Come for a little bike ride or a run on this park. Australia is kind of far out of the way, but it's worth it. Let me tell you, this country is as large and beautiful and diverse as the United States. And there's always something to explore and discover for yourself. I never get tired of that feeling. And going on a bike ride like this, it kind of feeds my sense of adventure, if you will. All right, footpath closed again. So up and over we go. All right, gotta cross another road. Hopefully this situation is a little easier than the last. Looks like it's gonna be. Oh no, that way looks pretty busy. Well, something that's very similar to America, very similar to LA is the traffic. You really can't avoid it anywhere you go. It's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so people are probably picking their kids up from school. Maybe they're getting out of work about now. A lot of traffic. All right, which one of you lovely people is gonna let me cross? Yeah, I'm trying to make a video here. It'd be right about now where, you know, people will click to the next video. So I would really like to get moving again. I've got something special for me waiting at the end of this journey. Okay, we've got a small gap opening up here. Will there be a gap on this side? No. Okay, after this car, I'm going. Okay, here we go. Onward. Onward again. Ah, that breeze feels good. I am definitely hot and sweaty today. This bike path is not super easy, but it is beautiful. Well, I guess it is kind of easy. You know, this trail could be made out of dirt and boulders. It's all paved. But let me tell you, it is work. It is work. I also wanted to share that earlier well, I guess it was last year, I'd gone on a thru-hike of the Long Trail in Vermont. And that's a 272-mile continuous trail through Vermont, right from the Massachusetts state border all the way up to the Canadian border. And I had to end my Pacific Crest Trail hike early for personal reasons. And I didn't want to get off trail, but I had to. I didn't have that full autonomy of my life yet. So it was because of not completing that goal that kind of shifted my attention to the Long Trail, which was not too far from where I was living with my parents at the time. And I completed the thru-hike, right? I had got to Canada. It didn't necessarily look like I thought it would. Getting to Canada, I thought I was going to reach that goal on the Pacific Crest Trail, but I reached the Canadian border by foot on the Long Trail. And I was really, really proud of myself for that accomplishment. And it came full circle. And it just felt like I had honored my heart in that way, honored my true self, my goals. And I love hiking. I love thru-hiking. All right, I gotta pull over here. Thanks. To me, backpacking, yes, it's a solo sport. It's one of self-empowerment. And I love the freedom that hiking gives me. I feel like I can go anywhere. I have everything I need on my back to survive, right? As long as I've got that food, the water, and the shelter, everything else is a bonus, right? The views of the summits. I have absolute freedom to go wherever I want, when I want. And how often in life do we really get to do that? And as a recovering people pleaser, I love that feeling of autonomy and doing what I want on my own time. I would imagine it's a similar feeling of freedom that a surfer might feel, you know, when they catch that perfect wave, or maybe someone that rides a motorcycle. The freedom of the open road. That's what hiking feels like to me. That sense of freedom. And so, yeah, completing that thru-hike in Vermont, it really meant a lot. And of course, I couldn't have done it without the support of my parents. And I enjoyed making lots of videos about that. So if you like, go and check that out. This long form video that we got going on here today is a little bit different filming style for me. And I'm glad that you're on this ride. I hope that maybe it's provided some value to you, and I would encourage you and anyone to live a life of authenticity. And you can't try to change others or force them to live authentic like you do. It doesn't work that way. The way we change the world and interact with everyone that we encounter is by changing ourselves first. The only way you can do that is to live a life of integrity, follow your heart, listen to your body, quiet that mind of yours, because it's probably going to get you into trouble. Don't overthink things either. Really pay attention to the heart and the body. They know things. They know a lot of things. They're really smart. And sure enough, if you're able to do that self-evaluation, pretty soon you're going to find yourself on the path of integrity, and you could be living your wild ideas in a new place, meeting new people, if that's your thing. Or you could just feel more blessed and stay exactly where you are and change the lives of the people around you in small ways. That too is valid and authentic and beautiful. There's no one way to be a human. There's no wrong way. There's no wrong way to be a human either. It took me a while to figure that out. I had to confront a lot of expectations that I put on myself in childhood and free myself of those expectations so that I could really feel into the life that I wanted to live, which has led me here today. Oh, what a beautiful sight that is. Oh, look at that. Look at that beautiful ocean. I love that big gull up there. This is so cool. Okay. Now I gotta find a place to park the bike. And I got a little surprise for you on the beach. All right. This looks like a good spot. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna take you with me. Grab my phone. All right, I gotta spin my camera around. Let's go. Oh, this is so good. I gotta take my shoes off. Oh, look at this beach. Oh, here we go. I ain't stopping. Kimmy, my love. Hi. I made it. You made it. Oh my God. Finally. I'm out of breath.
Oh my gosh.
Oh.
Bike
biked all the way here.
I biked all the way here.
Oh my God, I'm out of breath just running to you.
Thanks for coming to meet me.
Yes, it's a beautiful day.
It is. It's a beautiful day to be alive in South Australia. With this one,
I'm out of breath. I didn't even run that far.
Well, thank you all for coming along on this journey. This is my friend Kimberly. She's a rock star. Woo! And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Ciao.